kids, especially high school players, and she's got some depth that's going to really show up in the next 2 years.
And we have said that this is bud into one of the better rivalries in the Missouri Valley Conference. You mentioned the proximity. They're recruiting against one another. They're only 3 hours apart. And you can't overlook what happened here last March. Illinois State is the 8th seed, beating the number 1 seed Indiana State to get to the NCAA tournament. First time in the history of the tournament that an 8th seed won the Valley Championship. And I know that just brings a smile to your face when you think about somebody's got to wear Cinderella's slipper, and last year it was the Lady Redbirds.
Well, the Birds had an unbelievable run at the end of the year, and credit this coaching staff for getting them where they needed to go. Credit the kids because they continued to believe. But you've got to believe there's just a little bit of attitude left in the Sycamores from that game. Now, they did a little payback in Terre Haute 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it's not the same as beating them here.
That's right. The first week of January, back on the 7th of January, Indiana State beat the Redbirds 92-76 in the first matchup of the year between the two squads. Illinois State leads the overall series 35-31, but again, the Redbirds have won 4 of their last 6, and there's not a whole lot of teams in the Missouri Valley Conference that can say that they have had success against this Sycamore team. The Sycamores come in right now 9th in the NCAA in scoring at 79.5 points a game. They love to press. They love to score. They've won 15 games in a row. They started the season 2-2, probably scratching their head. All they've done since then is rattle off 15 wins.
Well, and that 15-game winning streak is number 2 in the nation. They're tied with Tennessee Chattanooga, who they beat earlier in the WNIT. North Carolina is the only team now left in the country that has a longer winning streak, and that's at 21.
Yeah, so you've got a team with a lot of success coming into Redbird Arena against a team that wants to beat the top. And Indiana State is in its red, or its traveling dark blue jerseys. Illinois State in the home whites with red trim, and the Redbirds have the opening tip. And we are underway for basketball here at Redbird Arena. Women's college hoops here on WMBD TV. Glad you're alongside.
Indiana State's opening in their traditional zone defense. It's a good matchup.
And a good start for the Redbirds as Amber Shelton, the sophomore from Edwardsville High School, knocks down the jumper. And that's really her game, isn't it? About a 15-foot jump shot. That's where Amber can excel.
I think she's a slasher. She can get to the basket. I think she's increased her range somewhat this year, but she'd still rather pull up and shoot it.
Here's Weddle. She's got a good shot, too. Missed it, but the rebound is put right in by Mempaw. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast can score inside and outside.
Mempaw's a kid that has consistently gotten better every year for the Sycamores. Oh, Robin Pinchton did not like giving up that offensive putback, and I think she's going to have something to say.
How do you like that? We've played 40 seconds, and we've already got a timeout. It's a 30-second timeout that Robin burns. And we mentioned that Indiana State, not only do they score a lot of points, Jill, it's because they get a lot of possessions, and they get them off their full-court pressure. So we're going to see this team play 94 feet against the Birds.
For 40 minutes. And the advantage that Sycamores have is Jim has been playing a good 10 players deep all season, and he's really, you know, priming his underclassmen to take over next year, and they're getting a lot of floor experience.
Again, keep your eyes on number 22, Melanie Flynn for Indiana State, and number 10, Christy Cerrone for Illinois State. 2 of the better players in the league. Cerrone likely the freshman of the year in the conference, and Beglin, there would have to be a major malfunction in the voting if she's not the conference player of the year. There's a half-court trap now, and the Redbirds turn the basketball over.
Well, mistake by Illinois State, taking the ball to the corner in the front court. They need to keep the ball in the middle of the floor to avoid that trap.
And so the first turnover against the Birds, and Indiana State will have the basketball. We've played just 1 minute here at Redbird Arena. It's a 2-2 ball game. Illinois State and Indiana State. The Sycamores looking for a school record 10-0 start, and now the Sycamores turn the basketball over.
Illinois State stayed in a zone matchup the entire first game against the Sycamores. They're playing man so far in this game.
And we might see some switching between zone and man defense today.
No question. Nice job by Tiffany Hudson to break that pressure in the backcourt, but it's only leaving the Redbirds about 20 seconds to run an offense.
Hudson looks to the outside. Now it's Cerrone with 10 on the clock to the baseline, draws contact, and we're going to get a couple of free throws.
Now, that's one of Cerrone's strengths. She'll attack that basket, try and get that foul.
This young lady is just a freshman, Jill, but she plays with enough poise to be an underclassman.
Oh, no question.
Upperclassman.
But look how well she goes into the defense as she attacks the basket. And, you know, she's trying to get that three-point play.
Second in the Missouri Valley Conference in assists per game in the conference at 4.5. You know, she's a in the top 10 in 7 different league categories, and she's got a 2-month, learning curve. Think about that.
She's just got the poise of an upperclassman. It's so unusual to see a freshman assert themselves as a leader, and Cerrone has definitely done that.
She knocks down the free throws to give the Redbirds a 4-2 lead. Now Beglin backs her down and flips it back out. That's the matchup we're going to keep our eye on all afternoon long. Now it's Weddle. She works on Shelton, missed a shot, tipped around, and Weddle went and got it, but she was standing on the baseline, so that's another turnover against the Sycamores.
The Redbirds are definitely trying to force Weddle to put the ball on the floor. She's much better as a catch-and-shoot kid. She's a great three-point shooter.
Yeah, the Sycamores love the three-point shot. Weddle, Verhoff, very comfortable shooting from the perimeter. Here's Holly Hallstrom's first shot of the game. It's missed. Back to get the rebound is Mempa.
Hallstrom careered against the Sycamores in January. 30 points in a losing effort.
Now from the outside, that's a missed shot by Beglin, but Indiana State with the offensive board. And now an opportunity for free throws coming for Stephanie Lish. At 5'10", she's really she's a perimeter player that can post up, and that was a good example of it.
Well, they've started playing Lish at a 4 more this year. She started her career at a 3 position. She was freshman of the year a couple years ago, but she's a lot like Amber Shelton. They both like to slash, attack the basket, physical players.
And she played her prep basketball in this state at Belleville Altough, so very familiar with the basketball world here in Illinois and the prep hoops. You get a good look at Jim Weedy again. What a job he's done. 6 years and completely has turned the Sycamores program from the bottom of the league to the top of the league.
Now that is a Cinderella story, what he has done at Indiana State. It's just amazing.
He's teamed at the WNIT last year and looking for an NCAA berth this year. How do you like that? Right place, right time for the pass. As Hudson and Shelton break that pressure. That'll be the key today. Got a blocking foul going to be called against the Sycamores. No shot. Well, we're going to get 2 shots on the play, it looks like.
Well, that could have almost gone either way. Rachel Mempaw got there. I think the official must have thought it was just a second too late. But you're going to see good depth from the Sycamores. They're going to come in with Laura Rodolphe, who has been just as effective, if not more so, than Mempaw sometimes.
And now the officials have counted that basket for Hallstrom, so it's going to be a 3-point opportunity. And we'll identify the officials, Connie Pardue, Rich Foxton, and David Rittman working this afternoon's game here in Normal. And now a 3-point play opportunity for Hallstrom, who knocks down the free throw. And so the Redbirds are back in front by 3 now. It's 7-4. Rodolphe, as you mentioned, Jill, what a wonderful game she had against Missouri State. Almost a coming out party there a couple of weeks ago, and she's just one more weapon that Jim Weedy can pull off his bench.
I think she's a nice player for them. Great mobility, works hard, gets their boards.
That's her on LaShawn Johnson. Shot it right over Johnson and in. So Rodolphe's first hoop of the night. She's averaging about 6 a game. And there's that full court trap pressure. And Cerrone dribbles right through it. To the baseline. To the near side. Hudson for 3. Missed it. Offensive rebound, Hallstrom. She's been working the glass.
Holly Hallstrom has just improved her game so much. She gets to the boards well. She's got a good shot close to the basket. Covering your weak side boards is so critical. And Rodolphe just didn't get a body on her. Hallstrom, a senior, took advantage of it.
And Hallstrom has really stepped up her game, especially in the wake of injuries, early season injuries to Ashley Sandstead, we mentioned, and Nicole Lewis. Sandstead was really having a great season, and so was Nicole Lewis, another freshman for the Redbirds, and perhaps the fans in Central Illinois don't realize they were starters out of the lineup now due to injuries, and the rest of the teams had to pick up the slack.
Oh, you're absolutely right, and that's really opened the door for players like LaShawn Johnson and Lori Trumley, but losing Nicole Lewis was just a real blow, and I think Ashley Sandstead was just the heart of the team. So those were huge losses for the Redbirds.
Here's Beglin. She's still looking for her first point. Redbirds have done a nice job of keeping the ball out of her hands.
The very first time these two teams played this season, Christy Cerrone got in foul trouble very early. She has really matured in her game. She's just kind of letting it come to her and not being overly aggressive with Beglin.
Well, Robin Pinchton this week said that she learned a lot from that matchup in Terre Haute.
You think that's how Hallstrom gets all of her rebounds? She just shoots it from one side to the other.
And now it's Shelton, pump fake, 5-footer rolls in. And so Shelton now has knocked down a couple of jumpers, and the Redbirds maintain a 3-point lead at 9-6. Now it's Bagelin looking for her first hoop. She had 46 on a double overtime win at Drake last week, the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week. Rodolfi is short on that jumper, and now Hudson comes away with it. How is this tempo as far as do the Redbirds want to play this kind of tempo, Jill?
You know, both teams want up-tempo. There's no question that one of the keys for Indiana State is keeping an up-tempo, fast pace at both ends of the floor. But I think the Redbirds like that, too. That's their preference.
Hudson on the baseline now, flip out to Shelton. Thought about the three, stepped inside with 6 on the shot clock. Now it's going to be Hudson again, a 3. Back of the iron, no good. Weddle goes and gets in the corner.
Birds are really winding down that shot clock, not always getting the shot they want.
And that is a freshman, Carrie Schilly, the hoop and the foul. And so she's got an opportunity for a 3-point play.
I think Schilly is going to be awesome for the Sycamores. She's strong. She attacks the basket well.
We've got a timeout on the floor. Sycamores with a chance to tie the game when we come back at the free throw line. 9-8 Redbirds with 15-11 to go in the half. Back here at Redbird Arena where the Illinois State Redbirds have an early 9-8 lead. Amber Shelton's knocked down her first 2 jumpers for the game, Joe.
I think Amber is the most consistent player out there for Illinois State. She's leading them in scoring with almost 14 points a game during Valley play, but she can do it all. She can go to the basket, she can shoot the 3, and she's improved her range tremendously this year.
And now the freshman from St. Genevieve, Missouri, Kara Schilly, has tied the basketball game with that free throw.
Now, Indiana State sub during that timeout. They have 3 of their freshmen on the floor right now, and that just tells you the depth in this program. Well, they've changed their press into more of a containment up the floor without the trap.
LaShawn Johnson gets her own rebound and scores with the left hand. Redbirds did a nice job breaking the pressure.
Absolutely. You know, before Indiana State, I think playing more of a run and jump with the trap in it, and once they took that out, the Birds beat it easily.
Sycamores turn it over, their second of the game. Despite the pace and the pressure, we've seen very few turnovers here in the opening 6 minutes.
I think each team with 1 turnover, only the second for the Sycamores, but I just can't get over this lineup that Jim Weedy has put on the floor. Lish is the only starter left out there.
They'll just substitute in waves. Megan McCracken with the basketball. She's just checked in. She misses her first shot, and it's Schilly that comes away with it. Sycamores love to run the ball.
Oh.
How about McCracken coming back on the play and getting a steal? She trailed the play and stepped in the passing lane.
That's when not getting down in transition pays off.
Sometimes the last will be first, as they say, huh?
Megan has struggled since her first game back this season against Illinois. She had a great game, 25 points, and has not scored nearly as well since then.
LaShawn Johnson's going to be whistled for that foul at the perimeter. There was a lot of bodies flying all over the place, and she's the guilty party. That's her second, so she'll probably get a trip to the bench. She will. Lori Tremblay comes back in for the Birds.
LaShawn has worked so hard trying to improve her game, especially defensively, and trying to stay out of foul trouble. I'm sure she wasn't excited with that call.
Now, that's been the one bugaboo in her game so far is the foul trouble, and she finds herself on the bench with a pair already.
Oh.
And we got a whistle away from the basketball against the Lady Sycamores.
That's been called consistently all season. That was a off-the-ball screen by Ashley Clark that just clipped Christy Cerrone that time.
And so that foul was whistled against Clark, who is the Missouri Valley Conference newcomer of the year a year ago, and now she comes off the bench. Redbirds, again, a nice job of breaking that pressure, and it's McCracken to Tremblay.
Nice patience by Lori Tremblay. She's got great hands and a good shot.
And now Jim Weedy wants to talk things over, where the Redbirds have found a way to break that pressure with the long pass.
Well, I think part of it is the combination that Jim Weedy's got on the floor. He's taken off 4 starters, and he's playing with a rather inexperienced group this early in the game. He's not a happy camper, though, and he sure lets them know when they aren't executing.
Let's take another look at it. The Redbirds have gone over the top on this four-court pressure, and what they've done, Jill, is they've tried to space the floor out where you've got the clogged end on one side, throw it over the top.
Well, and the other thing that helps is they flash a player to the middle to try and draw the defense, and then they go deep over the top of that. We'll see that more as this game progresses, I think.
Annie Bankhead is running the show now for the Sycamores. As you mentioned, one of those underclassmen on the floor, but they just substitute in waves. Risch driving. Missed the shot, tipped out of bounds. Who's going to get it? Illinois State, it looks like.
Substitution for Indiana
The
State.
Sycamores have yet to really catch in their offensive flow and give credit to the Redbird D for that.
You know, I think Illinois State's man defense is truly bothering them because they're playing personnel, they're not helping a lot, and they're forcing players to create their own shots right now.
Lisa Verhoff returns to the game to replace Leah Phillips, who goes to the Sycamore bench. 13-9, a 4-point Illinois State lead. The Redbirds with the basketball. We played 6.5 minutes here at Redbird Arena. Rematch of last year's Missouri Valley Conference title game, won by Illinois State. Trumbley. How about
Nice
Hallstrom
move
working the
by
baseline again? Holly Hallstrom on the low block has been terrific here today.
Holly Hallstrom has got great mobility for a 6'2" kid. There's no question.
Now Baglin, still looking for her first points.
Yeah, Bagelin's struggling to score after a 46-point performance last week at Drake to win in double OT.
Maybe she got all of her points out of her system in Des Moines.
Well, you know, the following game at Creighton, she only had 8, so it's hard telling.
Baseline move now. Amber Shelton can't get the reverse to go down. Ball's out of bounds, and it's Illinois State's basketball.
Wow, Rudolphi got a piece of that going out, I think. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Ashley Clark.
The Sycamores have brought a nice fan contingent right under the basket. They're not too happy about that call. Christy Cerrone will trigger now. A fresh 30 seconds on the shot clock for the Redbirds, who have the basketball in the lead. And it's inside to Megan McCracken.
That was, I don't think, in the design play right there. Megan took advantage of a nice open cut.
Now Baglin, still scoreless. Missed a shot, and it's going to be a foul against her, going for the rebound.
Indiana State's really trying to clear out for Baglin going to the basket. I think that was a frustration foul that time by Mel. Missed the shot, one of the boards.
Well, the team that so far has run the table in the Missouri Valley Conference, starting 9-0 in the league, struggling against Illinois State. The Redbirds D is causing the Sycamores all kinds of trouble. Shelton, that's her first miss of the day. Ball's out of bounds, and it's going to go to the Redbirds.
Oh, wow.
Jim
Jim
Weedy is
Weedy's
hot.
going to go ballistic on that call. Yeah, the officials are discussing it, I think. Look at Kristen Weddle telling Weedy to just sit down. That's great. That's such a senior-laden team. I mean, Weddle, a senior, played high school ball with Baglin, and Lisa Verhoff. They've played together for a long time.
And again, they're still trying to sort this out here. It appears that the Redbirds are going to get the basketball.
I think they are.
But they're going to reset the shot clock, maybe. That's exactly what they're going to do, try to determine who had possession.
And for fans that are just tuning in to women's basketball for the first time, the women have a 30-second clock compared to the men's 35, and it's surprising what a difference those 5 seconds make.
Which is one reason why you don't see a 10-second call on the backcourt. There's no 10-second in the women's game either.
Exactly.
Here's Hallstrom again, posting up on Menpa. 15 to shoot. It's Trumbley.
Wow.
How about the Redbirds running that offense and kicking it up to Cerrone, and Cerrone gets a cutting Trumbley who puts it in. It's a 10-point lead for the Redbirds.
Illinois State being very patient offensively here.
Melanie Beglin is 0 for 5 from the floor. The reigning Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week.
You know, Beglin had 30 points in that game last year for the MVC championship, so she can turn it on and she can take over a game.
Yeah, she had about 17 in the final 10 minutes.
She was awesome. She truly was awesome.
6 to shoot. Shelton for 3.
Ah,
Missed it. Menpa comes away with it for the Sycamores. Well, that would have been a big basket.
Yeah, she was just a little bit too open, I think, on that one.
Weddle tries to answer, can't get it. Menpa, the offensive board. Now Verhoff, a terrific three-point shooter. She can't get it to go either. But the Sycamores are ice cold from the field.
That was one pass with 2 shots, though. They're taking a really quick offense to try and keep that tempo up.
Indiana State now 3 of 13 from the floor, 3 of 14 at 21%.
Very atypical, and atypical that they're not shooting well at the 3.
Inside to Hallstrom. Offensive foul against Holly Hallstrom.
Red foul number 25, Holly Hallstrom.
Redbird fans are not liking that.
We've got a timeout on the floor. The Redbirds have a 10-point lead over the Valley leading Indiana State Lady Sycamores. It's 19-9 early on at Redbird Arena. Men's college basketball here on News Channel 31. The Redbirds have done it on both ends of the floor, Jill. They've run their offense efficiently, and they're holding the Sycamores to 21% shooting from the floor.
Well, surprisingly, they're controlling the boards right now, 13-9. I think Illinois State's playing with great focus, and they're getting a lot of kids involved in this game right now.
Melanie Beglin with the basketball now. Driving and drawing contact. She'll get to the free throw line, it appears.
Oh, Christy Cerrone really crashed into the basket support on that.
Redbird foul number 10, Christy Cerrone, her first team foul.
Mel Beglin does a great job of using and reusing her screens and finding a way to get to the basket.
And she does not shy away from the physicalness of the game. At 5'6", you'd think that maybe she'd just sit her at the perimeter, but she loves to bang it around inside, doesn't she?
She does. There's no question. She likes attacking the basket and getting banged in there.
And her first point of the game comes nearly 10 minutes into the game. And again, we're talking about the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week, and certainly the front runner for the Conference Player of the Year honors, who averages better than 18 a game and is coming off a 46-point performance at Drake last week. Nice pass down low, and the Redbirds score with Brea Banks.
Tiffany Hudson continues to impress. She has gotten better every ball game. She came into the starting lineup after the injuries, and she has just been solid for Illinois State.
Shilly inside to Menpaw, who double dribble. 6th turnover for Indiana State.
Well, she didn't get a great feed on that, and Menpaw tried to go too soon before she really got the ball there.
Well, the Redbirds are playing with a lot more poise than they really had been in the last month. Wouldn't you say it's fair to say about the last 3 weeks or so? Yeah.
2 weeks, and it's been a huge difference. Their win over Missouri State at home was a real turn for them. They turned around and beat Wichita 2 days later. Then they go on the road, beat Creighton at Creighton for the first time in school history. Oh, nice job. That was Beglin that tapped that out.
Back tapped out, and the extra possession is a basket that time by Tiffany Rada. That's what happens when you keep the offensive boards alive.
No question, and Beglin was smart to tip it and not try and grab it. The Indiana State having to get out of that zone and into a man now to try and stop Illinois State's offense.
McCracken for 3, missed it. Trumbull tried to have it, tipped it out. Another offensive set for the Birds. Now it's Trumbull, and she may have walked. She did.
Good call by Rich Foxen.
See another freshman come in, and Leah Phillips.
Phillips, a great three-point shooter for the Sycamores. She careered against the Redbirds. 14 points in that game. She had 4 three-pointers.
Well, Indiana State has done seemingly everything right so far this year, but they're really struggling here from the floor. The Redbirds have done a nice job of kind of keeping the Sycamores on the wrong foot here all first half long. Rudolphi's back in the game. That's her with the basketball. Short shot, can't get it to go. Redbirds come away with it. That's Banks with the rebound.
I'll tell you, one difference in the Birds now and 3 weeks ago is defensively they're so much more disciplined.
Quick shot that time by McCracken. 21-12, the Illinois State advantage as we approach the 8-minute mark left here in the opening half. Shilly, the freshman. Kick out to Lish. Now it's back to Shilly. Two-person game. She missed the shot again. Where the Sycamores must think there's a lid on that basket.
Yeah, they'll probably be happy to change ends here pretty soon.
Banks, baseline jumper, can't get it. McCracken, a one-handed rebound. Cerrone had the ball knocked out of her hand. Christie's yet to make a shot from the field. She does have a free throw.
Tell you what, Megan McCracken's done a good job for Illinois State on the offensive boards.
Now Cerrone for 3, left open from the corner.
Wow.
She has the all-time freshman mark in three-point shooting. She surpassed one of your former players in Jenny Schmidt.
I'll tell you, if you can beat Jenny Schmidt at 3-point, you're doing a great
you're doing
job.
Something right.
So Christy Cerrone, and she's got 9 games left, and she'd already passed Jenny by 2 3-pointers, 33 of them so far this season.
Well, you're getting a good look at the future of Illinois State basketball in Christy Cerrone, just a freshman.
Well, surprisingly, this is a very young team all together.
McCracken tries a 3 from the other corner, can't get it to go.
Boy, Megan has just struggled to score, and very atypical. She's got a sweet shot, and it just isn't falling for her.
She has a dislocated pinky finger,
Yeah.
which might be altering the shot. It's hard to say. Rodolfi rims out. Offensive rebound, though.
Nice job by Shilly. Again, players attacking from the top of the key are getting a lot of the boards at both ends. Whoa.
Nice pass down low. It was Brayden Lish.
Nice backdoor cut by Stephanie Lish.
And Lish, the junior from Belleville, scoring off the glass. The Sycamores needed something. The Redbirds lead is 10. Hudson thought about the shot now. We approach the 6-minute mark left here in the opening half. A good half of the Redbirds. Banks left open 12-footer. Rolls off.
Birds running their offense well. They're just not getting some of them to fall. Brea Banks has got a nice shot for a freshman. Whoa.
Oh, near steal that time by Banks. Rodolfi. Her short jumper's down, so the Sycamores have made consecutive hoops.
Looks like Lori Trembley's really getting a little bit tired with this pace. If she has a weakness, that's going to be her problem.
Well, Robin Pinchton loves her game, says that she's perhaps the most fundamentally sound player on the team. And there's a nice pass to a cutting Banks, but she can't finish. And now we've got a whistle and a timeout. Jim Weedy wants a timeout. He's going to be granted a 30-second timeout. It's a 30. We'll step away. 5:37 to go here. Check that. We're going to keep it here. 24-16, the Redbirds leading the Sycamores with 5:37 to go here in the half. And I think if you'd have told Robin Pinchton before the game, Jill, that she would have an 8-point lead with 5.5 minutes to go in the half, she'd say, I'll take that.
Yeah, no question. But since she had 12 a couple minutes ago, she's probably wondering where those 4 points just disappeared. And you get the feeling that Indiana State's getting a little bit of momentum here. I think Illinois State's getting the shots they want. They're not putting them down as well as they did earlier.
Well, you know that the longer that a veteran team hangs around and you don't put them away, the more dangerous they become.
There's no question, and I think that's what's happening. And Jim Weedy doing a nice job shuffling players in and out and keeping his kids as fresh as he can. And Melanie Beglin, Menpaw, Weddle, all back on the floor again for the Sycamores.
Essentially the starting 5, except for Leah Phillips, who's on the floor right now. She did not start the game. Lish missed the shot, and it's off her hands and out of bounds. The Redbirds will get it.
Good help in there by LaShawn Johnson that time to send her back to the baseline.
Timeout on the floor. Christy Cerrone with her first 3-point make of the afternoon, left open from the corner, and she'll make it all day unguarded.
She'll take it all day. You know, she's not shy, and if she misses 3 in a row, she'll still come back and shoot another one. And that's what you like about Christy Cerrone. She has just got a passion to win.
As you mentioned, she owns the ISU freshman record now with 34 made 3-point shots. Just adding to that total with every make. Cerrone out of the game right now. Tiffany Hudson, that's her at the top of the circle, kind of running the show for the Birds with 10 on the shot clock here in this possession. Amber Shelton for 3.
That's definitely called in your face. Just standing there, and she didn't have another option.
And the last 2 3-point shots that she made, she airballed, so it didn't stop her from having a little confidence to put that one up. Menpaw missed with the left hand. LaShawn Johnson back on the defensive end for the Birds.
Boy, she just took that out of Beglin's hands. That's when size makes a difference.
That's Shelton guarded by Weddle. Gets a nice screen there from Johnson.
I tell you what, this is probably more man defense than Sycamores have played in the last month.
Near steal that time. 8 to shoot. 5 on the clock. Hudson looking for penetrate. Lost the dribble, looking for help. 3 on the shot. Puts up the shot. It's air ball. It's going to be a shot clock violation.
Tiff was really looking for somebody and had no options. I don't think she had confidence in that shot.
And now Cerrone's going to come back in. She got a quick 2-minute break. So Hudson out and Cerrone in. So the Redbirds have Shelton, Johnson, Hallstrom, McCracken, and Cerrone on the floor.
This is as veteran as they get. That's a freshman, 2 sophomores, a junior, and a senior.
And now Indiana State has its original starting 5 on the floor with Lish, Weddle, Beglin, Verhoff, and Mempa.
My guess is Jim Wheaty's going to try and stay with this combination to the end of the half.
And Lish driving, scoring, and getting the foul. She's done that a couple times this afternoon.
Lish very strong attacking the basket. She's great, especially with her right hand. She can really get to the back.
Well, she hurt the Redbirds in Terre Haute, 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals in that game in January.
Yeah, she had some fun. She comes from a pretty athletic family, though. Her father was a quarterback at Notre Dame. And, you know, she's got a lot of really athletic blood in her.
I'm guessing that helps a little bit when you've got some athletic blood in you.
Yeah.
Under 4 minutes to go here in this opening half. The Redbirds 27-19. They've led for the entire half.
Indiana State cranking their defense up a little bit, though.
Now it's Shelton who's had the hot hand. Cut off on the baseline with 6 on the clock. Now Cerrone, 3 from the top of the circle. Missed it. Now it's Beglin, and the Sycamores trying to up-tempo it in the front court. All the way down, stutter step, kick to Mempa, who trailed the play and missed the shot.
I thought for a minute Beglin twisted an ankle, but I think she just lost balance for a second.
The Sycamores 7 of 26 from the floor now, and Cerrone draws contact. That's a big-time collision.
She is not afraid to take the ball to anybody, and I'll tell you what, that was really a great take because Lish was off balance to play defense on that, even though she was between her and the basket.
Cerrone will have free throws when we come back. 3-8, 27-19, just over 3 minutes to go in the half. Christy Cerrone an opportunity to add the Redbird lead.
You know, Jim Wheaty's got to be thinking that Robin Pinkston's got his number. It's just amazing how well the Redbirds have matched up against the Sycamores and how well they played against them.
Cerrone makes both of her foul shots. Both teams in the double bonus now. And Cerrone with 7 points.
This is the 3rd time Wheaty has taken Melanie Beglin off the floor in this half.
It's funny, we can talk all we want about how great a player she is, and she is a terrific player. She's great in the classroom. She's great on the floor. She was the Valley Defensive Player of the Year last year. We've been talking about her offensive accolades, but boy, the Redbirds have just made her look somewhat ordinary today.
Yeah, they have done a nice job defending her.
A travel violation before Annie Bankhead could shoot it in. And now another substitution is Leah Phillips is going to come back in and send Bankhead back to the bench.
Bankhead's a kid that just joined this team in December. She had signed at Wisconsin. Wisconsin had trouble getting her admitted, they said, and she ended up transferring to Indiana State at the end of the semester.
LaShawn Johnson with Mempa on her. Here's Shelton, who had the hot hand to start the game. Been a little quiet lately, but lays it in. How about that move?
Nice spin in there by Amber Shelton.
Shelton now leading the Redbirds with 9 points, and the Illinois State lead is 12 points, the largest of the game at 31-19. 2.5 to go here in this opening half. Lish, she has been the best weapon so far for the Sycamores.
No question. Lish is having a good ball game right now. But the players that are attacking the basket the best are the ones that are being most successful.
The lob down low to Tremblay, that from Shelton. Now it's back out to Johnson. She'll try the 12-footer and make it.
Now that's the difference in LaShawn Johnson in the last 3 weeks. She's put in her time. Her shot's beginning to fall. She hardly shot the ball in high school. She was a defensive rebounding specialist.
Well, she's got such a physique on her and such a presence that if she starts adding a 12 to 15 footer, she'll be a real weapon. Now
no
Mempa turned around and scored off the glass.
Nice take by Mempa.
That's a 10-point Redbird lead. Minute 40 to go. Here's Cerrone driving. Flipped it up, couldn't get it. Mempa the defensive board for the Sycamores.
I think Cerrone was looking for some contact. It didn't happen on that.
Now a 3 that goes down. It's Phillips, the freshman. You've mentioned that she's a good three-point shooter. She's made 19 now on the season.
Well, I tell you, that three-point shot can turn things around in a big hurry in both men's and women's basketball.
Suddenly the Sycamores are within 7. They were down 12 just a minute ago.
Birds need a basket here to keep this game spread out.
Trumbley's going to try. Three-point shot. Can't get it, but Johnson, the offensive rebound around two defenders and draw. No, it's going to be an offensive foul.
Again, a call that might could have gone either direction. LaShawn gets called for the charge.
And now LaShawn Johnson has picked up her third foul, and so the foul troubles for Johnson continue.
She was going forward. Defense looked pretty well set on that. Nice defense by the Sycamores to just hold position inside there.
Well, she got a nice high five. Johnson did as she went to the bench. Robin Pynchon applauding her for her efforts, and she did play well, but she's picked up her third foul, so Banks has come in to replace her. As we're under a minute to go here in the half, and we've got a whistle away from the basketball against Illinois State.
I think Amber Shelton's going to pick that up, trying to bump a cut by Kristen Weddle. Robin Pynchon not real happy with that call. She's got some foul trouble on her inside players.
Weddle, who's a very good shooter at the free throw line, missed the free throw.
But Indiana State sending three people back on that board, and they've done that fairly consistently, I think, to try and stop the Redbird transition.
Shelton guarded by Weddle now. Try to screen and roll as McCracken. Her pass is picked off by Weddle.
Yeah, I think everybody knew that one was on its way.
And now it's almost identical. The shot clock and the game clock are about 0.3 of a second differential, so the Sycamores will be happy to hold for the final shot.
Jim Wheaty's going to really wind it down. You would think he would try and take a shot with at least 6 seconds to have a chance for an offensive putback here. Well, they're going to run this for Weddle, it looks like.
4 to shoot. The pass goes inside and a basket by Ashley Clark, her first of the half, and the Sycamores run a nice play and get a basket at the buzzer. Halftime at Redbird Arena, where Illinois State leads Indiana State 33-28. The Redbirds trying to hand the Sycamores their first conference loss of the season. Kurt Pegler, Jill Hutchison back with you here in Normal. An encouraging first half for the Redbirds.
Oh, I think their defense looked so much better than it has for so long. To hold Indiana State to 28 points in the first half was outstanding. Plus, to win the board. So if the Birds can stay out of foul trouble, I think they've got a chance to pull this out.
And they've held Melanie Beglin to 1 first half point. This is a woman that scored 42 last week at Drake.
That's absolutely amazing. In fact, right now, it's really the kids attacking the basket, Lish and Amber Shelton both, and the inside game that seems to be making the difference for both teams.
What a big lift this would be for the Redbirds as they try to beat the Sycamores for the second straight year here at Redbird Arena. The Redbirds have the 5-point lead.
That was a lucky tip out of there, but Amber Shelton has taken advantage of everything she's had in this first half. LaShawn Johnson has 3 offensive boards, and she took advantage of that one for her putback.
For the Redbirds, and about the same from three-point range and exactly the same from the foul line, but the rebounding edge goes to Illinois State, and that's been a big factor here today.
Well, even more so than the 19-23 is that Illinois State has 8 offensive to Indiana State's 5 offensive, and that's the offensive putback opportunity that we just saw LaShawn take advantage of.
Stephanie Lish, the leading scorer for the Lady Sycamores with 9 points. The Redbirds' leading scorer is Amber Shelton. She also has 9. And Christy Cerrone has chipped in 7 for the Redbirds. And a glaring statistic is Melanie Beglin, the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week, who pumped in 46 last week at Drake, held to 1 first half point. 1. The Redbirds
doing a great job defensively, and you know they're not doing anything special. They're just trying to contain her right now.
And so both teams have come back on the floor as we start second half action. They are starting the exact same 5 which opened the game. Lish, Weddle, Beglin, Verhoff, and Mempa for the Sycamores, who have the basketball. They're in the traveling blue uniforms. Redbirds in white here as we open the second half. A 5-point lead for Illinois State. There's Beglin, and it took her just 1 possession to get her first field goal of the second half.
Well, Christy Cerrone knew she was in trouble and just couldn't get out of the way quickly enough. Weak side defense needed to slide across and help on that penetration.
Beglin is the first player in Valley history with 1,500 points, 600 assists, and 400 steals. She does it at both ends of the floor. She now has 4 points after the 3-point make. And here's that pressure. Looks like it's just kind of token pressure initially until they trap you at the timeline.
Nice traps, though, by Indiana State, and good pursuit on the ball. They come out of their trap really well to cover in the half court.
Hallstrom, Hudson, Shelton, Trumbley, and Cerrone, the 5 to open the second half for the Redbirds. They started the game for the Redbirds. 4 on the shot clock. Hudson the miss. Hallstrom got the offensive board.
Oh.
She couldn't get it to go down either.
2 shots and nobody hit iron. That's tough.
Now it's Beglin all the way down. Kick out to Menpa. Couldn't get it. Tipped around, and the Redbirds come away with it.
Well, this half is starting just as up-tempo as the first, if not more so.
Big basket by Tiffany Hudson.
You're right. That was huge. That was huge for Illinois State.
Stemmed the flow a little bit because the Sycamores really closed the first half on a strong note and opened the second half the same way.
You're absolutely right.
Here's Beglin. Now she's starting to warm up a little bit.
Beglin's going to be able to go over the top of Hudson. That's going to be tough to stop.
So after missing her first 5 shots from the field, she's made her first 2 here in the second half.
Indiana State calling for a travel on Hudson there. I think they were right.
Here's Hallstrom on the baseline. Kick out now to Hudson, who just made that long jumper. Hallstrom double team now. 7 on the shot clock. Hudson penetrates. Her pass intended for Trumbley's knocked out of bounds. The Redbirds will get it.
That was lucky because actually Hudson hit it out and a Sycamore touched it on the way. But 4 seconds left on that shot clock right now.
Cerrone, the trigger under the basket, looking for help.
I'm not sure that the Redbirds know.
Wide open is Shelton, but she couldn't get the shot off. The Redbirds needed about another half a second on the shot clock.
Nice pass, though, by Hallstrom to find Shelton over on the weak side. Indiana State has cranked up their defense and their offense. They're coming out with much better focus this half.
And down by 12 points at one point in the first half. They've got a chance to tie the game here. Mempa walks.
Good call, Kurt. Mempa's not a happy camper.
Well, the coaches always talk about the first 5 minutes of the second half being important, and that's certainly going to be the case here.
It sets the tone for the entire half, and this is critical for both teams.
Hallstrom. Double teamed again. Now it's Shelton working the baseline and trapped, and her pass is knocked out of bounds. Quick hands by Beglin.
Beglin does a nice job anticipating off the ball, and her quickness is surprising.
Yeah, you look at her, you might not think that she's a very quick player, but she's got an explosive first step. And as we mentioned, even at 5'6", she does not shy away from contact at all.
No, you're absolutely right.
Now Shelton drew contact. The ball was knocked out of her hands, and now 2-on-1, the Sycamores. Beglin. Her pass, though, is on the floor, still on the floor. Redbirds come away with it.
Christy Cerrone, tremendous defensive stand there.
Now Cerrone, a 3. Missed it. And it's Weddle, the defensive rebound.
Well, I'll tell you what, Illinois State is not backing down from a thing right now, including the intense pressure that Indiana State's putting on defensively.
We've played 3 minutes into this second half. It's a 2-point Illinois State lead. Kurt Pegler, Jill Hutchison with you from Missouri Valley Women's Basketball here at Redbird Arena. The Indiana State Lady Sycamores 9-0 in the conference, trying for a school record 10-0 start. But Illinois State's got other things in mind. Reverse layup that time wouldn't go down from Hallstrom. Birds only with 1 field goal here in the second half. Mempa, she can't get it to go. Both teams a little winded right now.
Yeah, no question. Mempa is really struggling inside. 2 for 7 so far in this game.
Hudson has both Redbird jumpers here in the second half. What a nice lift the sophomore from Naperville's given Illinois State.
I'll tell you what, Tiffany Hudson is a spark. Robin Pinkston's really trying to keep her team fired up from the sidelines.
Mempa drives and scores, and so Melanie Beglin has found the range here in the second half.
No question. She just drew a foul on that, getting a little over anxious going for the steal. Surprisingly, Beglin, who is one of the top defensive players in the country, really has no steals yet in this ballgame.
And now the Sycamores are making some substitutions. As we mentioned near the top of the broadcast, they'll bring 2-3 players in at a time, and those underclassmen a lot of times just pick up right where the upperclassmen left off.
Yeah, no question. I'm impressed with their bench.
Trumbley, foul line jumper, goes down, big basket.
Lori Trumbley has just got a great shot for a big kid. She likes facing the basket.
Boy, her last 4 games, Jill, too, 42 points and 29 rebounds. She's really been heating it up here in the last 2 weeks of this season.
Well,
Redbirds with a
she's
4-point
been
lead.
the difference maker, I think, for Illinois State in the last 2 weeks.
4-point lead in the basketball for Illinois State. Shelton works on Schilly. Now it's Hudson. Beglin on her. 9 on the shot clock now.
Cerrone's going to flatten it.
Cerrone pull up from the top of the circle. Short, front of the iron.
Surprisingly, Beglin slowed it down just a little bit coming up the floor. Makes you wonder how winded they might be.
Now Beglin tries to draw contact off the glass. Couldn't get it to go. Well, the Redbirds have sagged off her, daring her to shoot that 15-footer, but she'd rather penetrate.
You're absolutely right, and they keep sending her to her left hand. Credit Tiffany Hudson, who's been on her the majority of the time. Illinois State a little stagnant in their offense right now.
Shelton from the outside. Shelton now the first player in double figures, give her 12. And another three-point make, and now Jim Weedy. Just when it looked like the Sycamores were primed to attack, the Redbirds have answered. First it was Tiffany Hudson, then Amber Shelton.
I think the Birds like this up-tempo as much, if not more so, than the Sycamores, and they're getting in stride offensively.
And Jim Weedy is having a very loud conversation right now with Connie Pardue.
I'm not really sure what it's about right now. I think that he just got a warning.
Oh,
Tee. Whoa, he got the tee.
Technical foul has been called against the Indiana State Cup.
Perhaps for being out of the box? What?
Possibly, but I'm sure it was yelling at the official. What I don't know is what he was questioning.
It may have happened during the break. We certainly didn't see it happen, and all of a sudden we're ready to put the ball back in play, and Connie Pardue tees up Jim Weedy.
Not a good time for the Sycamores to lose 2 points. That makes it a 9-point spread for the Redbirds. And he is still in Rich Foxen's ear over there.
And so the Redbirds get their 2 free throws, thanks to Christy Cerrone, and now Indiana State will have the basketball. Well, we mentioned that the Redbirds and the Sycamores have done a wonderful job in developing a rivalry in the last couple of years, and certainly this kind of a game won't hurt. We'll step aside. Now we've got an officials timeout with Illinois State leading Indiana State 44-35. Back with you. We're about 5.5 minutes into the second half. Illinois State leads Indiana State 44-35, significant in the fact that the Sycamores are a perfect 9-0 in the Missouri Valley Conference, an unbeaten start to the season for them, and Illinois State just trying everything it can do to contain the Sycamores offense, and it's been mission accomplished so far.
They're doing a good job without being real flashy, just steady. Oh, 4th foul on LaShawn Johnson.
And Laura Rodolphe, who we've seen before have flashes and stretches of brilliance, is going to get to the free throw line.
Rodolphe's really got good legs. She's got a good spring in her, and she gets up above Johnson. Johnson pushing into her with that right arm. She just needs to be straight up.
And Rodolphe makes good on the free throw. And she's pulled the Sycamores back to within 6 at 44-38.
Sycamores again with 3 freshmen on the floor here.
Hudson, who's had the hot hand here in the second half, missed the shot. And Indiana State comes away with it. That's another freshman. Leah Phillips on the floor now for Indiana State. Tiffany Rada. Back inside, they're pounding the ball inside, and scoring off the glass again is Kara Schilly, another freshman player.
It looks like that's the game plan here, Kurt. I think they're going to just keep trying to attack the glass inside.
The Sycamores have brought a nice man contingent, and they're trying to get their team back into it. Now Shelton. Redbirds could really use a basket here. Cerrone drives. Her pass down is deflected and stolen away, and a foul in the backcourt, it looks like, on...
And haven't been able to, but LaShawn just totally off balance, bangs into Leah Phillips there. That definitely depletes the inside core of players for Illinois State. Frankly, that leaves Holly Hallstrom, Lori Trumley, and Brea Banks, the only 3 kids to play inside.
Replacing LaShawn Johnson.
Well, Johnson had 4 points and 5 rebounds, gave the Redbirds some nice minutes off the bench, but has fouled out of the game with 13:26 to go.
And again, 3 of those 5 rebounds were offensive, and that made a huge difference.
And now the Redbirds trying to protect a 4-point lead. Beglin from the top of the circle, knocked down. They're going to say it was a 2. Her foot was on the line.
That's the one thing Melanie Beglin has improved since last season, and that's her range. She's much more effective at the 3-point arc.
Yeah, that was Stephanie Lish, pardon me for that. And she knocks down that jumper. It's a 2-point basketball game right now. Trumbley from the outside, missed it. Now it's Beglin.
That looked like a desperation shot.
She's penetrating on Cerrone, draws contact with a blocking foul against Christy Cerrone.
Yeah, Cerrone really didn't get set on that, I don't think. Mel Beglin changed speed as she attacked the basket. Watch that little hesitation, and then she just turns it on. Cerrone just out of position to defend that. That's Cerrone's 3rd foul as well.
Yeah, the fouls are starting to pile up. Hallstrom with 3 fouls for the Redbirds, too.
That's 4 fouls for the Birds in the second half, only 2 for the Sycamores.
And after a 1 foul, but since the tee, the Sycamores have gone on a 12-0 run.
Something worked, didn't it? He got his message to his players.
The standings, you see it 9-0. Indiana State with a perfect first half of the regular season, looking for its first ever 10-0 start. The Redbirds with 3 wins, but they've really come on strong here in recent weeks in the Valley, and that's the reason why we thought this game was really going to be an interesting matchup. If you just look at cold numbers at the standings, you might say, well, that doesn't look like much of a matchup, but it goes way beyond those numbers.
Oh, no question. I think these teams match up so darn well, and Illinois State playing at home makes them a good 10-point better.
The Redbirds really have struggled offensively here in the last 2 minutes, and again, Indiana State on a 12-0 run after head coach Jim Wheaty was teed up. Here's Lish. She's had the hot hand today. Her shot is no good off the back of the iron. Ricochets all the way out to half court. Cerrone tracks it down. Now it's Shelton in the front court. Her 12-footer is missed, tipped around, on the floor, out of bounds to the Sycamores.
Whoa. McCracken landed on her knee coming out of bounds there. Illinois State, again, getting good shots. They're short on a lot of them. Makes you wonder if they're running out of legs out there.
Here's Lish at the top of the circle now. She's going to drive on Hallstrom and score.
Stephanie Lish.
Boy, as well as Illinois State defended the first half, you almost feel like Indiana State is having their way here in the second.
Lish with 11 points now, and that matches her scoring total from the first meeting of the season between these squads in Terre Haute. Now Hallstrom draws contact. She'll get to the free throw line.
Yeah, nice move by Holly Hallstrom to get to the basket there.
Indiana State foul.
Well, early in the game, Holly was having a lot of success right around the basket. The Redbirds went away from that a little bit. Now perhaps they're going back to it.
Well, there's no question that both teams are attacking the basket more, and Holly Hallstrom is so effective down there.
And had a 30-point effort against the Sycamores in Terre Haute. 50 rebounds in her last 4 games. And again, we've been pointing at Lori Trumbley as one of the reasons for the Redbirds' resurgence here in the last couple of weeks, but certainly Holly Hallstrom's been in the middle of that as well.
There's no question, and she's the lone senior on this Redbird squad. Number 2 in the Valley in rebounds with almost 10 boards a game.
The Redbirds still stuck on 44. Driving and scoring again is the freshman, Leah Phillips.
That was nice defense by Christy Cerrone that time. Phillips just had a nice finish.
And now Robin Pinston wants timeout. See if the Redbirds can get back on track. It was 44-35 when Jim Wheaty got his technical foul. And since that time, it's been a 16-0 as we approach the 10-minute mark left in this one.
Indiana State switching everything right now and then trapping that ball screen.
Shelton gets the ball down low to Brea Banks, who laid it in, and the Redbirds finally break the 16-0 Indiana State run. Verhoff goes inside. Mempa, she took that extra step by it. Yep.
They Rachel Mempah is getting frustrated. She's just having things not go her way in the second half.
And Kristen Weddle will come back in, replace Tiffany Rada. Now, the Redbirds had a lot of success running their offense and actually playing really locked down good defense in the first half, but it's been a different story here in the second half, hasn't it?
Well, it has. I just think that technical fired up Indiana State, and they have been relentless. Birds need to get another bucket here, Kurt.
8 on the shot clock. Cerrone tries to penetrate, lost the dribble, looking for help, 3 to shoot, hanging, firing, and scoring.
Oh, my. Great job by a freshman in a trap with the clock winding down.
And she was caught between a rock and a hard place and made something out of nothing. Now we're going to have an over-the-back call against Stephanie Lish, it appears.
Well,
No, Mempah.
It's going to be important here for Illinois State to keep their poise. Despite the fact they've lost the lead, if they can stay poised, they can come back in this game, and they're showing that now.
Well, it's a one-possession game. Even with the 16-0 Indiana State run, the Redbirds can tie it with a 3-ball here.
Absolutely. They just need to keep everybody that can play on the floor here and get rid of some of these fouls. Both teams with 4 now in this half. Oh, they've got a mismatch because Indiana State is switching everything.
Redbirds didn't identify the switch, though, and now it's Megan McCracken. Shot couldn't get it. Lori Trumbley was being guarded by Melanie Beglin. There's about a 7-inch differential there, but the Redbirds didn't identify it.
Yeah, I think that's a freshman type of error, missing that switch.
Now it's Rodolphe, who scores off the glass. She shot it right over Trumbley.
Well, now what they are going to do is keep pulling Trumbley away from the basket, attack her on the dribble, because she is not the fastest kid defensively.
And Rodolphe is going to be whistled for the foul that time on the defensive end. That's a good matchup, Rodolphe and Trumbley, a couple of players who go at it very hard.
No question.
45, Laura Rodolphe for second. Team foul number 6 on the Sycamores.
So that's the 6th team foul against the Sycamores.
That could be a major factor in this second half.
Redbirds will be at the free throw line now as they've hit the bonus. As we approach the 8-minute mark left in this one, it's a 5-point Indiana State lead. Redbirds led by 12 at one point in the first half. Short shot is missed that time by Shelton. Got a good look, couldn't get it to go down.
Yeah, she had a nice gimme shot on that baseline. It looks like she took her eye off and looked at the defense. Illinois State sliding under ball screens, and that's allowing them most of the time to stop that penetration.
Beglin draws contact on Tremblay and scores.
Again, what Melanie Beglin does so well, if you watch this replay, she uses the ball screen and she reuses it, and that caught Christy Cerrone over the top. And
Cerrone has been a magician on the floor for the Redbirds all season long, and this was a magic act around a double team with the shot clock winding down, Coach. She somehow flings it up and gets it in.
I'll tell you how she even got out of that trap is miraculous, but then to find the basket, she's just doing a knockout job for Illinois State.
Beglin now with 12 points here in the second half after being held to just 1 point in the first half. Right now, the Sycamores on a 21-4 run over a 6-minute stretch.
Illinois State just got in each other's way that time in that motion offense.
Rhea Banks left open. Shot was blocked by Rodolphe. She got it back. She never quit, and she scored.
Nice heads-up play by another freshman, Brea Banks. This league is full of good young players, and they're just going to keep getting better.
We're seeing a bunch of them on the floor here this afternoon. Beglin is guarded by Tiffany Hudson this time. Tries to work around a screen from Rodolphe and knocks down the jumper.
That's the hard part. You go under the screen. If she can hit that 3, you're in big trouble.
Now we're seeing the Melanie Beglin, that's the Missouri Valley Conference frontrunner for Player of the Year.
Well, the nice thing that Beglin's done is kept her poise.
And Banks answers with a 3. Just her 11th three-point make of the season.
That was big time. Brea Banks
she
has
likes
got a
to
great,
shoot, yeah.
She loves to look at it out there, and she's,
Beglin with the penetration and the pass to Carrie Schilly.
That was nice defense that time by Brea Banks also.
7-point Sycamore lead. Every time the Redbirds try to make a run here, the Sycamores have an answer. Under 6.5 to go, and we've got a whistle away from the basketball. It's going to be against Indiana State.
Yeah, good cut in there by Holly Hallstrom that caused that foul. That will give them a bonus here.
More substitutions now for the Sycamores as Jim Weedy's going to send 3 fresh bodies back in. Rodolphe and Schilly and Verhoff all go to the Sycamore bench.
Again, Jim Weedy doing a nice job using a lot of people, keeping people as fresh as they can.
Holly Hallstrom to the free throw line. Terrific high school player in Moline, and then a junior college star, too, at Kirkwood Community College. They've got quite a program there.
They do, and Holly helped them get into some national recognition there.
Holly makes both of her free throws, and the Redbirds are back within 5 now. Illinois State needs a couple of defensive stops, don't they?
Yeah, big time, and they've got Beglin really doing all the creating right now.
Beglin is fouled by Tiffany Hudson, who reached in on her.
What Beglin does so well is change his speed. It's not always being the fastest player out there, but being able to change your speed is what's deceptive and throws a defender off.
Crossover dribble, move left, move right, always keep you guessing.
Yep, no question. And really, Tiffany Hudson's doing a nice job defending her. Illinois State in a zone on a baseline out of bounds here.
Tiffany Red is in the game that she's going to trigger. She gets it into Lish now. We approach the 6-minute mark left in this basketball game.
That was interesting. In this zone, Amber Shelton, it pulled clear out to face guard Melanie Beglin.
Beglin with a basketball now. She gives it up. Now it's Memp on the baseline. Works the baseline. May have stepped on the baseline. She did. Well, that was a wonderful move, too.
It was. Poor Mempaw. She has just not had the breaks today.
She started out like a house of fire. Nothing's gone right for her since the opening moments of the game. 2 of 8 from the floor. Redbirds with a chance to close within 3. Shelton cut off at the baseline. Now she gets it back. She's guarded by Beglin.
10 seconds left on the shot clock here.
Cerrone gets a screen from Banks. Missed the shot. Hallstrom the offensive board and stick back. Can't get it to go. Tip out. Amber Shelton. So 2 offensive rebounds by the Redbirds.
Nice effort by the Birds just to keep it alive.
Hallstrom is second in the Missouri Valley Conference in rebounding, and you're seeing why. That's her now. Backing in on Mempa. Her short shot is in, and it's a 3-point opportunity.
Nice job by the Birds to keep pushing the ball inside. That seems to be their strength right now. And they're very patient trying to get the ball to Holly Hallstrom.
And now Hallstrom, who just made a couple of foul shots a moment ago with a chance to make it a 3-point play, and she does. And the Redbirds are within 2 now.
Holly Hallstrom over the last 4 games has averaged over 12 boards a game. Now her average for the season's over 9, so she's done a great job.
And now this a crowd of 3,500 has awakened, and Melanie Beglin's got an answer.
She is amazing.
So Beglin with a 3-point shot, now give her 15 on the game, and Amber Shelton spins and missed a short shot.
Shelton's had so many opportunities this half. She finished first half and struggled this half.
Now Beglin driving again, and the foul's going to be on Hudson.
Well,
Nearly
I'm surprised
a 3-point play.
they didn't give her an intentional on that because Hudson just pushed her going to the basket.
Somebody could say, Coach, how could there be
Beglin.
2 different halves from
Yeah.
Melanie Beglin? The first half she couldn't throw it in the ocean, and here she looks like an all-world player.
You know, I think sometimes Mel gets casual offensively, and she tries to let everybody else get into the game. But when push comes to shove, I think Drake found out she can definitely do it when she has to, and now the Redbirds are finding out.
Well, she averages 18 a game, and now she's at 19. Give her 20 points after a 1-point first half.
She does what she has to do to win a ball game.
And she's given the Sycamores a 7-point lead. Under 4.5 to go now. 65-58 Indiana State. Hallstrom inside, draws the foul on Rodolphe.
It was fortunate she got the foul because obviously Holly got too far into the basket to finish, and Rudolphi could have let her go there.
Well, the Redbirds are very content on pounding the ball inside with Holly Hallstrom right now.
Yeah, the problem is they're having exchanged 2s for 3s if Beglin keeps shooting 3 ball. Again, Illinois State needs a stop here. If Hallstrom can make this, it's still a 5-point ball game.
Well, the Sycamores have been able to run their offense. They've got their shooting percentage up to 49% right now, and they were 37 at the opening half.
Yeah, Jim Weedy has called for a slowdown in the offense and just have them run the offense, use some clock.
Rudolphi on the low block. Short shot, can't get it. Hallstrom the rebound. Redbirds in transition now. Megan McCracken for 3. Couldn't get it. Holly Hallstrom, another offensive board. Blocked by Rudolphi.
Nice block by Rudolphi. That was huge.
Beglin driving on Banks. Blocked by Hallstrom, but contact. And there's going to be a couple of foul shots coming from Melanie Beglin.
It looked like a little bit of a frustration foul by Hallstrom that time.
Timeout on the floor. Officials timeout. Redbirds trail the Sycamores 65-60 here on News Channel 31. Melanie Beglin has taken this basketball game over, hasn't she?
Almost single-handedly. Pardon me, she's scoring, rebounding, defending. I mean, she has done it all right now for the Sycamores.
Here she is at the free throw line.
Oh, an atypical miss by Beglin. She was 7 for 8 going into that free throw. It still makes it a 2-possession game, though, Kurt, and the Birds still have time to pull this one out.
21 for Beglin now. 3 over her average. Shelton looked inside, skipped it out to Banks. 10 on the shot clock. Christy Cerrone for 3. Yes, indeed.
That makes it a 1-possession game. Illinois State has got to get a stop. Illinois State dropping back in a zone defense. This is a tough time to play their zone when Indiana State is using clock here.
Beglin down the lane. Ball on the floor. Held ball possession is going to go to Illinois State. How's that for a defensive stop?
That's amazing. And Beglin going through the middle of that zone to try and get a bucket.
65 is a magic number, 2 more points.
It's a huge possession right now for Illinois State. With just under 3 minutes and a 3-point difference here, it'd be a huge time to put a basket up.
We thought this game was going to be terrific, and it's lived up to its expectations. Holly Hallstrom again is going to get to the free throw line. What a second half she's had.
Well, they did a nice job setting her up, trying to clear that weak side, so there wasn't a lot of help. And Verhoff came down there. I mean, she left her player completely to try and give help on that.
How about the touch pass from Amber Shelton? That's an almost impossible pass to make over the top
You're
of the zone like that.
absolutely right.
Substitution for the Sycamores, Leah Phillips enters the game.
Tell you what, though, both coaches are pulling everything out of the hat, changing defenses and working these offenses.
Hallstrom splits the free throws, and it's Shelton that comes away with it.
Wow, what an offensive board.
The Redbirds can shoot for a tie or the lead here.
You know, you almost felt like Indiana State was taking off on offense on that one.
Hallstrom is fouled by Mempa.
Holly Hallstrom doing a great job posting up, calling for that ball in there. She caught Mempa on the baseline side.
And Rachel Mempa has just picked up her 5th foul, so she's been disqualified.
Yeah, Mempa's working hard in there, but that gave Holly the entire lane.
Every trip down the floor, Hallstrom is just saying, I dare you to stop me. Get the ball to me on the low block, and I dare you to stop me.
She's had great luck against the Sycamores. I mean, obviously, her 30-point performance, excuse me, in January was huge. Now, Ashley Clark has come in to replace Mempa. Clark, newcomer of the year, as you mentioned earlier, last year, but has had a mediocre season so far this year.
She missed it, and it's going to be an over-the-back
Trumbley.
on Trumbley. Almost had another replay of the last with an offensive rebound for the Birds.
That was not a good time to pull a foul by Trumbley and put them at the line.
You know, Robin Pinchton's team has taken the best punch from the Sycamores here in the second half and responded. It's a one-point basketball game now with Lish at the foul line.
Lish only a 66% free throw shooter, hits the first one.
Now she had 15 on a game against Creighton, where she made 7 of 11 from the field. So she has one of those streaks in her where she can start knocking down shots, and she makes both the foul shots. Back to a 3-point Sycamore advantage, under 2.5 to go here at Redbird Arena.
There's still a lot of time for both teams here.
Lady Sycamore's trying to go to 10-0 in the conference, and the Redbirds would love to hand Indiana State its first conference defeat of the season. Shelton in traffic. Tough shot.
Only one team has gone undefeated in conference. That was way back when it was the Gateway. Southern Illinois put 2 seasons together undefeated. Cindy Scott just did a heck of a job.
And now the Redbird Arena crowd is on its feet. Backdoor to Lish. Missed the short shot. Got the rebound. Put it up. Missed it again. And it's still Indiana State's ball. Somehow, some way, it's Beglin that comes away with it.
Birds missed an opportunity on the defensive boards that possession. It's so different going into a zone and covering your boards than being in a man.
Beglin driving, floating, missing, got the offensive rebound, and it's going to be a foul against the Redbirds.
Oh my, I almost thought Beglin would get that for opening up and pushing off.
Well, that's not a very popular call here at Redbird Arena. But Christy Cerrone has whistled for the foul.
Well, it's Beglin. You can't see it in the picture, but Beglin opens her right arm trying to get away from the traffic.
Beglin at 5'6" with 2 offensive rebounds in that set.
I was just going to say, that was the difference. Beglin pulls down 2 offensive boards and gives them another chance. That keeps it a 3-point ball game.
She scored 20 against the Birds in Terre Haute. She now has 22 against the Birds here at Illinois State. And she's given her team a 3-point lead at 70-67. Now, Jill, I'm going to put the coach's hat back on you. We know you've been retired for a couple of years, but tell us, what do the Redbirds have to do here? It's a 3-point game. They've got the basketball with 1:22 to go.
Well, I think they can take either a 2 or a 3. They don't need to get too greedy and feel like they have to have the 3 right now. But I would come back and play that man defense. I think they've been successful in their man. They can take away the outside shot a little bit better, give Beglin some room, force her to shoot the 3. You know that Indiana State is going to go to Beglin.
Absolutely, and it's almost like you want to say, have somebody else besides number 22 beat us.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that Illinois State might try right now is switching every screen in a man and seeing if they can, take away all these penetrations, because Indiana State may not take advantage of the mismatches.
What a finish we have in store here at Redbird Arena. Illinois State down 3 with a basketball.
They're going to try and get into Lori Trumbley, it looks like, because she's got a mismatch with Lish.
Cerrone off the glass. And a timeout by Robin Pinchton. The Redbirds with 3 players in double figures now. Cerrone with 16, Shelton and Halston each with 14. So those 3 players have combined now for 44 of Illinois State's 69.
Illinois State down by 1 right now with 1:04, Kurt, and they need to make a defensive stop here. Even if Indiana State uses the entire clock, Illinois State is going to get 1 more possession off of this. So defense is going to be absolutely critical.
There's Christy Cerrone again. We mentioned the freshman from Chicago does not play like a freshman.
Oh, she's got the poise of an upperclassman without a doubt. And she is absolutely fearless. She is not intimidated by anyone or anything. And
1 minute left.
Yeah, guess who's going to get the shot here? The dangerous part, though, is Beglin is as good distributing the ball as she is scoring. So if she doesn't have something, she'll find her open player.
Yeah, she had a 19 assist game earlier this year. right around Trumley and scored with the left hand.
Well,
and now it's Indiana State calling timeout.
the Birds did try switching there, but what a mismatch with Beglin and Trumley.
I'm sorry, I thought they called timeout, but it was just a whistle. They wanted to maybe adjust the clock.
Now, Illinois State, I think, may need to go for the 3. They're going to take a timeout and decide.
All right, now Robin Pynchon says, let's map things out.
Yeah, it's going to be tougher to get 2 possessions out of a 42-second clock.
Well, right now, if you're looking at the timeout scenario, the Sycamores have a 60 left and the Redbirds have a 60 left, and that's going to be it. So each team equipped with one more timeout to go for these final 43 seconds. Here you see Beglin again. She has made a living doing this afternoon, Jill.
She did a great job getting past that end. You know, she had to go through 3 people to get that shot. We might also mention both teams in a double bonus. So fouling is not a great opportunity here.
So if you're the Redbirds, do you run a play for a 3, or are you thinking 2 here because you might get the basketball back?
See, I think with 42 seconds, you got to go for the 3. You can almost always count on getting it back if you got 50 to 55 seconds on the clock, but to get it back with 42 could be tough, unless they got a quick shot, which they're not going to get. So they've got to find a 3 here.
Well, Shelton, McCracken, and Cerrone are the 3-point shooters on the floor for the Birds, and that's McCracken there. And she drew a foul.
Well, and see, that can be a smart play by Indiana State. It takes away the opportunity for the 3, forces Illinois State to settle for a 2, but now they've got 30 seconds to get the ball back. Jim Weedy doing some substitution offense defense is going to put Lisa Verhoff back in the game here.
And so the lefty from Rock Island Alleman knocks down the first shot. Verhoff is in, as you say, and Leah Phillips is out. McCracken's battled all kinds of injuries this year. Had a coming out party at Illinois where she knocked down 7 3-pointers. And knocks down both foul shots for the Redbirds, who are within 1 at 72-71. The inbounds goes to Weddle.
Birds pressing for the first time the entire game, and Beglin goes through it all by herself. Now they got to decide, they're not going to foul, or are they? Look at Beglin.
She just about single-handedly broke the press and wound the clock down to 15.6.
Yeah, if they do it sooner, they have chance for 3-point play there. Beglin's got to hit this.
She's a 75% foul shooter.
And she's so darn smooth. Wow.
She's got a quick release even at the free throw line. She doesn't let the ball in her hands too long.
Doesn't.
She catches it and she shoots it.
You would say chances at ball reversal.
Well, the Redbirds are a 31% shooting team from 3-point range.
Yeah, now Indiana State's going to try and run that clock down in the backcourt.
Here's Cerrone. 10 seconds.
Oh,
McCracken.
Megan had the shot.
Driving. McCracken's going to take a 2. The ball is blocked. The Sycamores with the defensive play. It's Rodolfi who comes over, and Verhoff comes away with it. And now with 2.6 to go, it's going to be the Sycamores at the foul line.
Rodolfi's number 4 in the conference in blocks, and she's got great timing coming in here. Here comes McCracken. Nice job by Laura Rodolfi. That was a huge play for her.
And so the Sycamores are now staring down the barrel of a 10-0 start in the Valley, a school record 10-0 start. Unbeaten in the first half of the Valley Conference season and starting the second half with a victory as well.
I'll tell you what, though, what a great performance by the Redbirds with a very depleted roster, very young team on the floor.
Well, the Redbirds certainly have nothing to hang their heads about. They'll be disappointed in this one, but the Sycamores had to work very hard. They erased a 5-point halftime deficit, and they come away with a 75-71 win, and that's your veteran leadership right there.
No question, and it'll be interesting if they play one another in the Valley Tournament one more time.
Thanks, Jill, for being with us tonight.
Enjoyed it, Kurt.
75-71, Indiana State over Illinois State. The final score here from Redbird Arena in Normal.